Hey guys, it looks like Pokemon, the sales figures have come out for Pokemon Sun and Moon after it released on Friday, past Friday, and then of course all the way through the week. So we have an idea now of where it ranks, and the biggest place a lot of people were looking for is in the UK because as of the other day, before these figures came out, the biggest seller for Nintendo in the UK was Wii Fit, believe it or not. And that was back in 2008 when the Wii was obviously insane. There was hysteria everywhere. It was crazy finding one. Of course, after a while, we eventually caught up and everyone had their Wii, and then realized that they bought it for bowling and boxing at the time. You know, because a lot of mainstream people bought it without realizing what it was. But to stay on topic here, Pokemon Sun and Moon came out, and it absolutely crushed sales figures pretty much everywhere. I mean, that was it. It came out, and it was massively received by everyone. It looked like it actually ended up beating Call of Duty in Europe, and it also beat, well, in the UK, it also beat FIFA, which is bigger than beating Call of Duty. If you're in the UK or anywhere in Europe, you're going up against the juggernaut that is FIFA. FIFA is tremendously popular there. It's always been popular. That's what kept the PS2 around for so long, because it kept releasing FIFA on the PS2. And Pokemon came out, and during a week where there were so many deals and sales going on with Black Friday as well being added into this, it was still able to overtake Call of Duty, and it was able to overtake FIFA 17. Now, if you look at the list, it shows that Pokemon Sun and Moon take up third and fourth, while Call of Duty is second, and then FIFA is first. However, based on all the sales analysis and stuff from people who have the actual figures, Pokemon Sun and Moon together, since technically it's the same game, just with obviously a few differences here and there, like the time difference, and of course they're Pokemon. The core game is the same, of course. Those two together, as one, would have beaten anything on the list. So it would have beaten Call of Duty, it would have beaten FIFA. So Nintendo managed to put out a monster here. It also essentially doubled sales of Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, which is tremendous. And you know, it seems obvious to a lot of people who follows Nintendo, who buys the Pokemon games, that yes, Pokemon is big, okay? But even X and Y weren't this big. Even Alpha Sapphire, like I said, and Omega Ruby weren't this big. They weren't. So this is interesting because remember, guys, all rumors say a Pokemon game is coming out on the Switch. And not only did Sun and Moon move games, obviously, it also moved 3DSs, where a lot of people know the next system's coming out, the Switch, but they still bought 3DSs so they could play Pokemon Sun and Moon, which tells me that the first Pokemon game that's going to be playable on a TV is going to sell. It will, and we already know it more than likely it's Pokemon Stars on the Switch, based on all the leaks and rumors, and if that's the case, the Switch, I think, will benefit greatly from that, and I think that is actually going to be the game, even over Zelda, guys, as much as I say it, even over Zelda, Pokemon Stars is what's going to move Nintendo Switch systems into households. And like I said, it seems obvious to a lot of us, but there are people I've talked to over the past couple weeks leading up to the release that didn't think Pokemon was big. They didn't understand why it was a big deal for Stars to be going to the Switch. And they didn't think it sold as well as games like Call of Duty, and you know, because it's on a handheld and it's Pokemon. And honestly, if you look at Japan's figures for Pokemon, they actually have numbers out. It's insane how much more it sold than games like any other game. It doesn't matter. Pokemon sold, I think, like over 1 million, and the next one behind it sold 100,000. I think it was like Call of Duty or something, but it doesn't matter. Like, that's how big it is in Japan. I knew that. I think everybody in the world knew it was going to sell crazy amounts in Japan. It was the UK I was kind of iffy on because FIFA is very popular there. So is Call of Duty, obviously. And we're still waiting to see the US numbers, but I can tell you now, it did well. It had to have done well here. So, but this is big news for people who want to get the Switch, who want Nintendo to be successful with the Switch, which, honestly, if you're a fan of video games, you should want any one of the three companies, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, you want any of them to do well. Because if we start getting to a point where there's one company left, then they can do whatever they want and probably sell systems there's nowhere else to buy it from. So, you know how you get those free games on Games for Gold or PlayStation Network? Yeah, those would go away if there was just one company, because there's no reason to give away free games. So competition's good for us, the consumer. So if you're a fanboy, it makes no sense. Don't be a fanboy. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy seeing all these companies battle it out for our attention and our dollars, because that means we win. So enjoy it. But Pokemon Sun and Moon selling well is huge for the Switch. I think Nintendo really, really needed this so they know going forward that they have that trump card in Pokemon Stars, because when that comes out, especially if it comes out around, let's say in October, let's say it comes out around then next year, leading into the holiday season, and a new Pokemon game comes out and you need the Switch for it, then it's going to be like the Wii almost with that, I can tell you now, because people are going to be going, you know, crazy looking for this system so they can get the Pokemon game. It will be like that. With 3DSs, we're selling like crazy. So, but it's good news. Good news. So, but yeah, I think I'll leave the link to Eurogamer, who actually reported this with the list and everything that I saw. You guys can check it out for yourself to see the list. The Japan numbers I'll also leave in the description for you guys too, so you can check those numbers out if you're curious just where everything placed. But yeah, it's good news, guys. Definitely keep an eye out for a couple other videos I have coming out. I want to talk about Final Fantasy 15 and this super weird rating that people are mad about, with 8s and 9s apparent, or 8s and 8.5 being bad for reviews. I don't get it, but definitely keep an eye out, guys. Subscribe if you're having fun and enjoying the videos, and I'll see you guys next time.